Greetings, ESL 106. We're back looking at a new skill. This week we're looking at skill 2. It's talking about managing unfamiliar words. So we're asking the question, what do you do when you're reading and you find words that you don't know? We all have that experience. And I'm wondering, what's your current strategy? As you're reading this textbook and other articles for other classes, what do you do when you really don't know the meaning of a word? So let's discuss some options that you might have in order to do the best you can with this dilemma. Talking about managing unfamiliar vocabulary, I'm looking at page 28 in your book, and I hope you'll join me there. They have some suggestions for you. In fact, they have a list of strategies. And if I look even at page 29, the strategies are listed and I just summarize them here. Some people might ignore the word and just continue reading, not spending the time to worry about it or go get a dictionary, but continue reading. Some people might guess the meaning. Sometimes you can use the context. Look for context clues as you go, and that will help you guess the meaning. Many readers will look for comparisons or contrasts, similarities or differences that will help them figure out what a word means. Sometimes there are repeated words, and sometimes there are synonyms, and those can be really helpful as you're trying to find the meaning of the word but not stop reading. Those are your two goals, really, is to go ahead and keep reading and try to guess and become better at guessing the meaning of a word using the context, using the synonyms and repeated words that are all around it. Here, let's try a practice. I have some sentences here we can practice together. So take a look at these 5 sentences and just guess what's the missing word based on the context of the sentence. You might want to pause my video here so that you can write down your guesses, and then I'll tell you what most people guess the missing word might be. So when I look at the first one, most people can see that this is something like a book, something I removed from a shelf, something I began to read. That suggests that it's a book or a magazine. In the second one, I guessed something like generous, and that's because I have this clue that he is unlike his brother. So I'm going to get the difference, right? The opposite. His brother was self-centered, and that means Ben is giving, generous, caring. You might have chosen some different adjectives. For number 3, I needed a verb. And this one is really based on the context. If you step on an egg, we all know what will happen. It will crack, break, smash. A verb that really lines up with your experience. Number 4, Mary got something, a new something. It's a sports model. It's red. It has black interior. That sounds like a car to me, talking about a new car. And then the next one, really talking about some kind of animal, right? Like other apes is adapted for life in trees. So we're talking about monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas, some kind of an ape would fit in that sentence. Hopefully that was pretty easy. These are sentences that have lots of context, lots of clues, so that you can guess what the missing word is or what a difficult word might mean that's in that sentence. Here, let's take a look in your book. Now I'm on page 28. They give us a few sentences and they highlight a word that maybe you know, maybe you don't. And they say you guess the meaning by using the context. So here I just pulled up two of these. Um, can you imagine buying a car that was created by a 3D printer and then being driven in that same car by a computerized chauffeur? What does chauffeur mean? I'm asking you two questions. The first is, what part of speech is this word? Are we talking about a noun, a verb, an adjective? That will help me as I try to figure out the meaning of the word. So I'm looking at chauffeur and I see that it's a noun. It's a thing, right? And I see a clue over here where they said, and then you're being driven in that car by a chauffeur. And that gives me the idea that a chauffeur is someone, a person, who drives a car, who drives other people in a car, a chauffeur. Let's look at the second word. With the power additive manufacturing, printing, 3D printing, and computer-driven automobiles, this is now possible. So let's look at the word additive. And they say, again, what part of speech do you think additive is? Okay, it's talking about a kind of manufacturing. It must be an adjective. It's describing manufacturing. And what does it mean here? Really, my clue is inside the word here. The word add, to add something in addition, right? An additive manufacturing, meaning that 3D printing is adding more possibilities. Okay, guys, I am going to give you more practice, just guessing the meaning of words, looking around the word, looking at the context like we just did, and trying to figure out what that word means. There are two places you're going to get that practice. And as we talk about this, I want you to remember, in order to understand an article, you really do not have to know the meaning of every word. Don't feel like you have to know what every word and phrase means in order to understand the main ideas and the supporting points of an article. So you're going to look at an article in your book, and this article is on page 42. Take a look. It's reading 4, page 42. And I just want you to look at the pages. What is this article about? What is the title? How many sections are there? What are the subtitles? And what are the pictures showing you? What do you see in the photographs? You have some vocabulary on your vocabulary chart 1B. They will be found in this article, these vocabulary words. But in general, what do you see that this article will be about? So if you said map making, you're right. And I put a map of Maryland up here just to give us some idea about map making and how wonderful it is to be able to see from a high perspective the place we live and all the places around us. This article, I see that it has 3 different sections. But in the first section, I really get the idea that they want to compare old map making and something new about map making. In fact, when I look at the title, I get another clue. What is the title? Map making in the digital age. That should help as I look to see old map making and new map making and how things have changed. Guys, you're going to read this article And this is your reading assignment. Answer the while you read questions that you'll find in the margins. And a lot of them are going to ask about vocabulary. You're going to try to find the meaning of a word in the article using the context. That should help you to practice this skill that we've been talking about, skill number 2. But in addition, I have an assignment for you, skill number 2 assignment. And when you go into the folder, you will see that there's a link. And this link is going to take you to a website for some reading practice, some vocabulary practice. Practice where you have to guess what the missing word might be in order to finish a sentence or even a paragraph. So go ahead and click on that link, find out where it takes you, and get some more practice with managing unfamiliar words.